Okay, we're going to work on the bridle a little bit. I know I'm kind of skipping around here, but I figured once we get this basic stuff in, then it wouldn't take long to finish up. I did the 50% gray in here and press down just a little hard. And then here, I'm probably using medium. And then I'm kind of going to fade out as I come down, using a lighter touch. And then we have one that comes across here. There's a shadow right there. And there's a shadow under there. Around those ends. And here, I'm going to use a light touch. Kind of using little circles, more back and forth, as smoothly as I can, and then kind of fade it out. And then I'm going to press just a little bit harder up in here, let it fade back. And take a little bit of 10% cool gray. And I'm going to add that in. Lightly. Same with up here. And just a little bit. This one kind of curves down because he's got a little bit of his mane coming down across here. So we're leaving a darker line for the mane. Like so. Back to the 50%. And there's the chin strap that comes around. And I want you to take white, because there's a buckle right here. Kind of comes down a little bit. Make sure your pencil's sharp. Bring that buckle around. Kind of curves. There's just a little line here. Curves back around. And then there's a little notch. Try to get the very end really heavy because it's really highlighted. And back to your 50% cool gray. It kind of fades in, so there's a little dark in there. It kind of curves around. Because this is the part that it's kind of highlighted where it bends. So press just a little harder. And it's really highlighted. Just come almost close, leave a little bit of the black in there. Go ahead and highlight this part of the strap. I'm just pressing harder using the same 50% cool gray. Could probably almost work with just the gray and white. Most of it starts getting darker or brighter, heavier. And it kind of fades off a little bit. Like so. Before I forget, there are some little holes. I could take black and make a few of these little holes. Like so. There's probably a little hole there. And go back with white. You want to make sure you sharpen your pencil, because this is a thin line. Oops. Kind of curves around just a little and comes out, and curves back. Sharpen my 50% back up. I'm going to add that just really light right there. I think I'll make that line just a little bit longer. Now, just so we can tell, the horse has a little bit of light gray, just almost right up to that. This is a shadow, so this gray is just really light. This is, I guess you could say, this is the shadow of the bridle, and then this is directly under. And then it kind of fades out. Leave a little bit of space between this one. If you get it too dark, you can come back in with some black and fade it out just a little bit. And it's going to shade up just a little bit here because that's where it bends in. I'm going to go ahead and make a line here. This is his jawline. And of course you got hairs that come out through here. He has a few wrinkles in through here. Okay, you can continue working the bridle using the 50% gray and the white. Go ahead and fill in the middle part, which I'm going to use the white there. And then there's a buckle here. I'm going to give you some stuff to do off camera. So fill that in there. This will be brightly bright. you're going to have a really bright highlight right here. I'm just going to add a little bit of white to define it. And you're going to have a little bit of white highlight here. And have a little bit of white highlight here. And that's going to come down just a little bit. And there's a little bit of a highlight here on the side of this closure. And there's a pretty good highlight right here. Trying to see my lines. This is going to be a highlight. And here's going to be a highlight. And there's a highlight here. This is really going to be bright. What I'm doing is trying to get to a spot where you can work on this without having to watch a video, because it'd be just like base coating, but it's just filling in with the light deal in certain areas. But you want to make sure you know where your highlights and stuff are at. So I'm making little lines so that you know where they are. There's a little line that comes down like so. Light area there. There's a highlight line right through there. There's a buckle hole right here, and I'm going to have a little bit of a highlight. And then there's one right here. That way you don't go over those areas. And then there's a light line there, and then there's a light line right there. These are just, add them in really light. This is just kind of so you'll know where you're going to fill in. And this one has several lines across. And then your line comes down. And then this one, I'm just lightly doing this, kind of outlining. And then it's got a buckle, or the end of the strap here, which is kind of highlighted. And then the little part that comes around, it's tucked under. And then there's another buckle deal here. And that's kind of highlighted across here. And then there's another holder right here. Let's see. I'm not bringing this line all the way down because this is really going to fade into the D-ring here. There's a little D-ring right here. I'm going to make a line there and a line here. This is where this part of the bridle hooks in. There's a line here. Kind of comes down like so. And I'm going to go ahead and let's see. There's a real light there. And then this is the other part, the leather.